Fishbowl, Act 1.
So I just shared my lit analysis with you guys. Can you read it? And when you read it, the feedback I'm looking for is how does my support, or does my support actually prove my thesis, prove my claim? So that's my question that I'm looking for feedback. All right, so on the task card, it says that now we need positive praise. So positive praise for my lit analysis.
Well, I like that your thesis relates back to the prompt.
Thank you.
I really think that the quote that you've chosen from chapter 17 in paragraph 2 relates to your thesis about joining a new community, really teaching you about yourself.
I think that the background information that you gave before you went into your quote is really helpful.
Thank you. Everybody's supposed to talk during the fishbowl, or during the writers' roundtable.
Good quotes. Good quotes.
All right, so the next thing is that you guys need to give me some suggestions or ask me questions about my lit analysis. That would be helpful for me to know whether or not it proves, the support proves my claim. Sarah, can you start? Because everybody needs to talk. So could you start, please?
The whole thing was good.
Breeze, this is the second time that Miss Murphy has given some pretty non-specific feedback to Mrs. Begley. Do you think that's very helpful to Mrs. Begley? I'm going to make sure I do mine differently.
That's the second time that you just said it was good. Could you give me some more specific feedback?
Well, every quote does have support, so that's a really good thing, because every quote needs support. So do that again.
Okay, thank you.
I have some feedback. Your thesis is about Julian, but in your first paragraph you have a quote from Caballo. That doesn't make any sense.
Freeze. Miss Beck-Hewson gave me a piece of feedback that actually felt kind of negative, and it didn't feel very good, but I can do a couple of things. I can just say thank you and move on. I can ask her to give me a specific instance where she sees that so that I can get a little bit more feedback, or I can just say I respectfully disagree. I think what I'm going to do is ask her to tell me a little bit more so I can understand, because she might be kind of right, but her tone was kind of negative. Ms. Beck-Hewson, that didn't really give me a lot of information. Could you tell me a little bit more about what you're seeing?
Well, in paragraph 1, your quote is that Caballo states, "I want everyone to know that Julian is giving me this special book, my trophy for hitting the longest ball in the history of this camp." But I don't understand why you did that, because your paper is about Julian, not Caballo.
Oh, so maybe my support should tie it back to my claim a little bit more?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, thank you.
I think, first off, that the quotes that you chose are really, really good and help a lot with the answering of your thesis. As to your question about support and how the support is helping us with answering the thesis and kind of connecting those quotes, I think especially in that first paragraph where you go off, in the second paragraph, you have a couple quotes there. The support seems a little short and condensed, and I know that that's a good thing so that everyone can kind of read and get through it, but I think maybe you can expand a little bit and even go into more detail there to really connect that second piece of evidence to the thesis would really be helpful.
That's awesome. I'm going to make a note of that so I know that I can do that later. Thanks a lot, Mr. Paris. That was really helpful. It was specific.
No problem.
I agree with Mr. Paris, and I think the same is true a little bit for the first paragraph. I see what you're going for, but I think that the support could be a little bit more clear in that first paragraph. It's a little foggy to me.
Okay, thank you. was really helpful. When I go back to revise my lit analysis, I'm gonna think about all the feedback you gave me so I can make some changes. Who's next?
I'll go.